I've been cooped up because of the rain the last couple of days, so it feels really nice to be able to go outside and get in my workshop, plug in the electricity, and find a project to do. Got my reading glasses. Hey everyone, it's Edwige, Coastal Magnolia. I am out in my work shed and I've got my supervisor in here making sure I do a good job today. And I'm gonna work on, this is brand new for me, big surprise. I've got a scrap piece of wood and I'm gonna make a little farmhouse riser. This was a roadside find. This was a trash pick. And it looks like a piece of pine. It has some really neat distressed markings on it. I'm gonna give it a good sand and make a farmhouse riser. If you don't know what a riser is, it's a fancy word for pedestal. And it's really basically either a shelf or a little tray with legs that you can use in your house to add another level to your decor. So you can use it on a tabletop, you can use it in the middle of your dining room table to elevate candles or napkins, or even the countertop in your kitchen. And when I say this piece of wood was a trash pick, it literally was a trash pick. Not like in somebody's dumpster, but it was on the side of the road. I stopped my car and I picked it up. So it's a trash pick. But it wasn't dirty, really. I just had to give it a really, really good sand, front, back, side, bottom, top. Then I'm using another piece of scrap wood left over from one of my projects, and I don't even know what this project was. It may have been a coffee table that I took apart and used the wood, but I literally do not throw anything away. My shed, you can see, I don't know if you can see in the background, but it is full of little scraps. I don't throw them away because I know I could use them. So these are the legs, I'm pretty sure, to a coffee table, and they're the perfect size. I just need to sand them down really, really well to get rid of some of that blue. Not that I don't like the blue, I just need it sanded down a little bit closer to the real wood. So sand them down really, really well. Then it looks like there's a little piece of plastic or something on the bottom of that leg. So I took it out, but then I'm left with a hole that's going to be a problem when I use those for my little pedestal riser. So I cut the end off. And I have to be really careful that there's not any kind of metal left over from the coffee table. So my mantra is measure twice and cut once. So I want to make sure that I have these cut the width that I need, and that way I don't have to cut, trim and cut again. So I'm just cutting and trimming. See, I only had to cut once. Now I need to attach the legs, but first I am going to sand all those rough edges off. Even though the miter saw cuts pretty cleanly, I just like to round the edges and just make them nice and smooth. Now I need to attach these little, they're not really legs, they're more like pegs, I guess. Or I guess you could call them legs. And Santa brought me some new drill bits and some new spade bits for Christmas. So I am going to pre-drill my hole, but this is the first time I'm using these, so I'm having to figure out how to open them without, needing a blowtorch and a chainsaw. Jeez. Once I got the right drill bit figured out, I've got it in my drill, making sure I make my measurements correctly the first time, waving to the neighbors. And yes, I do wear reading glasses when I'm doing close work, because even though I wear contacts, sometimes I just can't see up close. And that's just the benefit of turning 55. I'm eligible for AARP, but I have to use reading glasses. So pre-drilling my holes, and I don't know why this drill bit is not working. Probably because I don't have the drill going the right direction. Could it be operator error? Yes, of course it's operator error. So sometimes, yes, I do have to drill twice, and but no one's telling, right? So what I did a hole the size of the screw that I'm going to use, and then I did a little bit larger hole so that the head of the screw can fit down flush with the wood, because nobody wants a wonky pedestal riser, do they? So the head of the screw is going to be flush with the wood, if that makes sense. It's like underneath the wood. Anyway, you'll see what I mean in just a minute. I like it. I'm gonna find a place for it now. But wait, there's more. This really probably would have been fine as it was because it's already weathered and it's already really the color that I wanted it. I wanted to make it a little bit more weathered and beachy, even though this was already pretty weathered. So I'm taking some Min Wax stain and honey oak, although it's a little bit darker than honey oak, but I'm just rubbing a thin layer all over the wood. I have a lot of leftover paints too, so apparently I'm a paint hoarder. But this is kind of a really soft gray, very light gray, and I'm just using pretty much a dry brush to just put a really thin coat, kind of chippy coat of this gray. I think this might be Sherwin-Williams. I'm not really sure. I'm not even sure of the color, honestly, because I have probably a dozen of these little containers. And then this is an Oops paint from Lowe's. And no, I'm not even letting that gray dry. I am just putting on this really pretty aqua paint, and I'm just putting that all over the board. And I'm gonna let this dry. I just wanna make sure I get all the surfaces. And I'm not coating it completely with a really thick layer, but I am just putting on a thin layer. And then I had the brilliant idea of just taking a paper towel and just kind of wiping the excess. I don't really think that did much of anything. I mean, it did a little bit, I guess, but, and then I probably should have left my gloves on before I picked it up and moved it because I got paint all over my hands. Once the paint was dry, I took it back outside, and you can see I'm doing this all in one day because I'm wearing the same shirt, and it's nice and sort of sunny. There's my supervisor taking a pee-pee. Don't judge, but I'm just giving it another good sand, and this is where the distressing comes in. So I'm kind of sanding most of the paint off, but it gives it a nice weathered and very beachy feel. I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on the sander, but I'm putting some pressure on the sander, and I just absolutely love this look. It's very weathered, very beachy. Now it's time for a layer of wax. This is Min Wax Finishing Paste Wax. You can get this at Lowe's or Home Depot. I don't know what it is about the wax that just adds that final touch. It brightens up the color. It brightens up the wood, any exposed bits of wood, and it also protects the paint. That's the final step. I found the perfect spot for it in my house. I've got my candle on it. I've got some random flowers that my husband brought home from Publix. The 3 for $12, I think it was. Look at how cute this is. It's perfect. This is a perfect spot for it. It's a really random spot in my house. This is in our little Florida room that we watch TV in, and I love it. It's my first one. My first Pedestal, coastal farmhouse pedestal riser. I love it. Let me know what you think. Would you give this a try? How easy was this? And it's super cute too. Thanks for watching. Bye, friends. See you next time. Keep it beachy.